And there's a little backup story to this. 2 years ago, 3rd of November 2021, I was walking down one of the main roads here in Glasgow, near where I live, and there was some pages of what looked like a magazine fluttering on the pavement. And I'm kind of unusual in that I'll stop and pick up stuff because I can't get enough information. And so I see something and I have to pick it up because it might have important information on it. I'm just like that. So I stooped to pick up this. Okay, I haven't even sellotaped it yet. And it was, would you believe, some pages from the Illustrated War News, January the 9th, 1918. What was that doing fluttering about the street that I was walking in? That's the weirdest thing. It's like it looks like a magazine, and it's from, well, it is a magazine from the Illustrated War News. And it says here, the Halifax disaster, the ramming and explosion. And there's nothing else on that because the page is missing. So I'm like, took it home and I googled the Halifax disaster, which happened on this day, 6th of December in 1917, and would you believe it was the biggest man-made explosion to that date. 2.9 kilotons of TNT exploded in the harbour of Halifax in Nova Scotia. Okay, and what happened was there was a Norwegian vessel called the SS Imo in the harbour of Halifax, and it was leaving, and somehow it collided with a French cargo ship, the SS Mont Blanc, which was laden with explosives which were destined for the war in Europe. And the explosion, the Imo hit the Mont Blanc, and the Mont Blanc started to go on fire, but it didn't explode, so it gave some time for people to notice what was going on. But when it did explode, 1,782 people in the town of Halifax were killed, and around 9,000 injured. So I had never heard of that until I found this piece of paper fluttering in the breeze a couple of years ago. And so let's just put up a pic that we've got here. That's, you see, that looks like the aftermath of a nuclear explosion almost, but that's some of the Halifax shoreline just totally devastated. These were all houses there, and in the background on the right of the picture as you look at it, that's actually the Imo, which somehow didn't get particularly damaged, unless it had maybe, I don't quite know what had happened, if it maybe just continued to sail on a bit after colliding with the Mont Blanc. And the next picture shows the blast radius of the bomb. Do we have the next picture here? There we go. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's 3 blue circles that go out. So you see most of that town there was taken out. Almost half of the city of Halifax at the time in 1917 decimated by the blast radius of the explosion. Okay. So a wee story from that, which I found on Wikipedia today, is that the death toll could have been much worse had it not been for the self-sacrifice of a railway dispatcher, Patrick Coleman, who was operating at the rail yard around Pier 6 where the explosion occurred. He and his co-worker learned of the dangerous cargo that was aboard the burning Mount Blanc, which they were looking out at. But Coleman remembered that there was going to be a passenger train coming into the station at any minute. And so he returned to his post and continued to send out urgent telegraph messages to stop the train coming into Halifax, lest there was going to be an almighty explosion. And several variations of the message have been reported, among them, quote, "Hold up the train, ammunition ship afire in harbour, making for Pier 6 and will explode. This will be my last message. Goodbye, boys." And so, basically, thanks to Patrick Coleman, his message was responsible for bringing all the incoming trains into Halifax to a halt, as it was also heard by other stations along the Intercontinental Railway. And he is believed to have saved the lives of about 300 railway passengers as a consequence of his messages, but he himself was killed at his post. So that was the Halifax explosion, the biggest of all time to its date, on this day, the 6th of December in 1917.